So just a little bit about Chef Kristi. She founded that Brown Girl Catering in her apartment, which she utilized as a kitchen in the Central District of Seattle. She believes that healing happens through food, and indeed, what she creates is food magic. Chef Kristi also launched a community kitchen named after her mantra, "Everybody Gotta Eat." Her new restaurant, Communion, her new restaurant, Communion Restaurant and Bar, was recently named one of the best new restaurants in the world. Yes, the world, by Condé Nast Traveler. So I'll just turn over to Chef Kristi. And I think you're still muted, actually. Oh, yeah, there we are. All right.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, this is really, I was listening. I only got to listen to a little bit because I was around here prepping and getting everything ready. But this art really, it really inspired me. And I think that's an interesting place to be in right now, to be moved through some visual art to create food is such a wonderful connection. So I'm excited. I'm grateful for the Frye to have this opportunity because it's going to give me more inspiration to kind of move forward on some things. So I'm excited.
Well, we're grateful to have you, and I'm always inspired by food and all that. Being from the South, of course, we kind of had that conversation. You know, you can maybe you can keep a plate for me because I can just run over after this.
Hey, you know, that's the fun thing about this is that we just get to eat it because nobody's here, so we just get to eat it ourselves. So if you want to come up,
I'm gonna roll up about 2:15. So
okay, all right, I'll save it for you.
Okay.
So yeah, got an opportunity to just kind of look online, and I'm so looking forward to seeing the art in person. And what I did was I went on the Frye website and I just let the pictures play over and over again. And it was a lot of emotions that I felt while I was going through it. Just like the conspicuous fraud, like seeing that I had seen the Kehinde Wiley exhibit when it came to Sam and was so moved. One, just to see such large prints of Black people in person is such a spiritual experience. Because you've seen, like, if you know, as little kids, I grew up in Kansas City, so Kansas City is like, Kansas City, Missouri has so many, you know, the Henry Art Museum, like so many amazing museums, and we got to go as little kids. So you see these huge, you know, bigger than life photos of folks, but nobody that ever looked like you. And so, like, to go into the Seattle Art Museum and see that was very moving. And then, you know, just like I said, as I'm looking through these pictures, and what I wanted to do was be still enough to see what these feelings came up for me and what food I thought about. Thank you. So, this is perfect, right? So, thank you, Thomas. So I saw the first picture, which was the Lottie Mama, and I immediately thought of hoe cakes. And I mean, like, are you feeling me on this? I'm like, I'm totally like, I saw that afro, and I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So that was super cool. So I was like, okay, let me keep going. So then I saw the conspicuous fraud, and I thought, oh, that smokiness. And I thought about the Black men in my life and what it's like right now to be a Black man. I have a great amount of compassion, a newer reflection of compassion for Black men right now, for so many reasons, and we could talk about that. That could be its own segment.
I think that'll be all, yeah.
Right? But I thought about that, and I was like, okay, something smoky. Let me kind of stew on that a little bit. And so I went home. I was at the restaurants in the Central District, and I live on Beacon Hill. So I'm driving, and one of the conversations that I have through my food is like the neighborhoods in Seattle, right? Like I've lived all over. I've lived in Issaquah. I grew up in Renton.
Okay. Yeah.
I've lived in the Central District for the majority of my adult life, and then I've also lived in Beacon Hill. And so, like one of the key things is like looking at the corners and what's happening on the corners. So Charles and Rainier is the San Fernando Valley Peruvian chicken, and I love it. So I was like, and I thought about smoky, and I thought, okay, I'm going to make the Peruvian chicken smoky. So if you're looking at the recipe, you'll see that it has smoked paprika in it, and that's my way of kind of bringing that flavor profile into there. So my goal is to show you guys the full plate at the end. That's the goal. We'll see how it works out. But in the meantime, we're going to get started on the salsa. So we have grapefruit, and we have orange, and we have blood orange. And Chef Lynn over there is the one pouring that into the pot. She's going to go grab me a lime when she gets a chance. So for now, we're going to start on this recipe, this citrus salsa. Moses, was there anything else that I should cover before I get started on this?
I'm all in. I think we're ready. We're ready for you to go.
Cool.
I may have some questions while you're making the food.
Oh yeah, I can totally talk and cook at the same time. That's actually one of the things that makes this super fun. Is that I love when people come to my house and I can just sit and talk to them, and that's kind of why we set the kitchen up like this.
You know what? I did that for the first time last night since COVID. Like I made like all the comfort food too. Like,
ooh. Okay, that sounds like you need to bring me a plate.
Yeah, I should have thought about that before I mentioned it. But I will be happy to make you a plate. I'd be honored to make you a plate and see what we could compare notes because it's all art to me.
Exactly, it is.
By the way, I'm loving those earrings too.
Oh, thank you. I thought I should. Like I was thinking something a little bit more subtle, which is not usually me. And then I was like, no, we need art. We need art.
No, be you. So we'll let you continue on. While you're continuing making yours, I'm going to watch, but I'm also going to paint.
Okay.
We'll both be creative.
Oh, I love this. I love it. That is so, I'm so inspired by this whole process. So, really, I'm really big on trying to use everything. So as I'm going through this, I'm going to try to tell you guys a little bit about my philosophy about using things, give you different, so hopefully you're taking notes. But what I want is like for you to know that like everything that you cook with can be used again in some form or fashion, right?
Yeah.
Things just like art, right? I mean, food is art.
Yeah. Right? But we also have a long, African Americans, Black folks, we have a long tradition of using everything.
Yeah. Right.
To cook with from this.
And it's so like it's perfect timing that we're doing this right now, right? Because you got the High on the Hog series that just came out on Netflix.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
And it's so fun because I was moved more about the story, right?
Yeah.
About the food. And so I love Michael Twitty so very much because he does such a wonderful, eloquent job of explaining like how things came to be. So I didn't of course, I don't think hardly any of us grew up with the knowledge of, why certain slaves came from certain places, but to hear those stories about Benin and, that they particularly chose those regions to get the expertise of the rice growers. It's just...
Yes, I had no idea about that, and I'm from North Carolina, from the Carolinas.
Yeah, definitely check out the cooking gene, because the cooking gene explains in a lot of detail about that, and I had to put the book down for a minute, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it's taking a long time to get through it.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let me get a warm. Okay. What were you saying, Moses?
Oh, I was saying, watching this series, I've had to really take my time Um, because it's like, wow, why didn't, it brings up a lot of questions of,
right.
Why didn't I hear about this in all my history classes, But I'm glad that the history is being revealed and revered at the same time, and we're having these conversations.
Yeah, and my daughter, AW, is graduating this year from Seattle Girls School. Woo woo! And
congratulations!
Yes. And one of her assignments, they're talking about colonialism, and they've been talking about it from different perspectives in different countries, and she chose to talk about Botswana. And so she wrote a poem about it, and she said, colonialism is boring. And I was like, girl.
Wow.
You just honestly.
Wow, that hits on a lot of levels.
that one right there, I don't know if she is really deep, but I don't know if she gets it. Like, if she really gets it. Because, yes, that's exactly what it is, because it erases all of who we truly are, because it's all about, like, control and domination, and it's like, of course it's boring, because you don't want me to have any reflection of who I am and what I do, unless it serves you, and so, woo! That was a good one. Okay, I'm going to get back to the topic.
So what inspired you to be a chef?
Oh, man. I just have always loved food. One of my earliest memories has been just cooking, gatherings, family, and really, I didn't have a choice. I don't think I had a choice. Like I at one point have found a recipe book that I had written for dinners. Like, I would do dinners for my family, and it was like 1975. I was born in 1970, so like I was 5 years old. And I had made like steak and salad, and that was my thing. Like, I love steak. And my dad used to make steak over the fire, and so that really, just thinking about what food did is the reason why I think I had to do it. So when I was 13, my dad, well, the true story is my brother had gone through 4 years of college, and then in the last year decided that he was going to go ahead and follow his passion and study music instead of doing accounting, which was what he was about to graduate for. So my dad forced me to go to the library and research what I wanted to do with my life, because he's like, I don't care what you do, as long as you decide it now so that you can stay on the course. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I did. And from that exploration and my conversation with the library, we just really figured out that, okay, you do love cooking. Let's look at all of the possibilities. Look at all of the possibilities that you can do with that. And that's really where it began. And honestly, I've never done too much outside of cooking. I tried to run away, but it wouldn't let me.
I just want to remind folks that who picked up art kits that they have some of the ingredients for this citrus salsa, so they can follow along. So I'm going to let you just describe what you're doing, because I can talk to you nonstop and no one really know what you're doing. So I'm going to be quiet for a little bit.
Okay. So what I've done so far, right? We started with the grapefruit, and this grapefruit, you see how juicy it is. It's just delicious, and I can't wait to try this. So you can definitely snack while you're doing this. Okay, that's a must. Because honestly, it took me a really long time to realize that you have to taste the food all the way through it.
Yes,
so snack, please snack. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting between the pith of the fruit. And each citrus fruit, right, has these skins on the side, and we don't want the skin. You can eat it, but you don't want it in the salsa because it makes it a little bit more chewier than what you would want. And you just have to be really delicate. And honestly, this is a great exercise for kids because it requires a lot of patience. So it can help develop a little bit of patience. And although I am going fast, you do not need to. You really want to take your time and get your knife as close to that skin part as possible and then slowly go down. And you kind of use your knife like, um, you kind of use your knife like the pencil, or an X-Acto knife kind of thing. You want to just use that tip and go down the sides of that citrus. And like I said, if you feel like you're grabbing that skin, just go ahead and cut that off there. Just put that to the side. So we're going down and we're getting that citrus out of there. And then we're just going to keep going with that until we get through the fruit.
I really like that you said to take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think sometimes when we cook, or if we're intimidated by cooking, we think we've got to be an expert right away, when it takes a lot of time and patience and love to like really learn how to cook for yourself, much less.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's definitely something, like, if you're really interested in cooking and you want to be able to use everything every part of the item that you're using, it has to take time. Like, it was funny to me. One of my employees, when we first opened, he said, "Chef," he said, "I've never seen so many bones in my life." And that's because we make a lot of stock, because the things that we want the flavor all the way through it. And so to be able to do that, you got to take your time. If you're cutting meat off of a bone, or however you're doing it, you just, like, we do chicken Caesar, and I like skin. I don't feel like, why am I wasting the skin? So we take the bones out of the thighs, keep the skin on it, and then we use the bones for stock.
Right.
And that's what I mean by, like, can we?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we do the Caesar, and we also do a chicken pho, and we use that again, like, that skin is just, even when it's not crispy, I just want that skin. That's just me.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah. So we're almost down. So like I said, we have the grapefruit here. We have an orange. We have a blood orange. Just, I thought that would be cute for color. And then we have this lime, and that's just going to add so much more like that sour tanginess that you want in a citrus salsa. But sometimes, like, the sweetness can kind of take over, and you don't want that. So you want a little bit of twang to it.
And the blood orange, does that have a little bitterness to it? Kind of sweet bitterness?
I haven't tasted so far.
Okay.
It does. It's like a mix between the sweetness and the sour. That's good.
That sounds great.
That's definitely going to be my snack later. So, like I said, just that. You could also use that as a marinade for something later on, because you could just squeeze the juice out of it and then take that and put it on whatever, like chicken. I think that would be a great thing for chicken. So there's all kinds of ways. And then, like, you have all this left over. So there's all kinds of things you can do with this. You can take all of this and put it in some water and make citrus water. Just on something real simple. You could put it in a pot and boil it down, and then you can make a glaze out of the juices that are left over after you cook it for a while.
Wow.
There's always something to do.
Are there any vegetables Are there any vegetables you like to marinate? Or
Oh, I marinate pretty much all my vegetables. To be honest with you, I like to. So one of the things you'll see in that Peruvian chicken mix is you see the spice blend. And what I would do if I were you is I would take the spices that are in that recipe, I would blend it up, and then I'd use it for this, but I'd also keep it to the side so that if I wanted to make something else in the future, I already had a blend together, and I don't have to think about too much of that. Like I think a lot of times people just get bored, and that's why they eat out so much. But you don't have to. You can just, start creating little things like spice blends on your own. Honestly, it doesn't make sense to me to buy spice blends, for me anyway, because, I like spices. I'll give you guys a little tour before we're done.
I like spices too. And improvising and putting them together, and it's really fun.
It's my goal to travel and follow the spice trade route. So go to all the countries where these spices that I love so much come from.
Wow!
And talk about these stories, because man, woo, that'd be a great
Netflix series.
I think so too. Hint, hint. Hint. Okay, so now we got Chef Lynn. Can you bring me a bowl, Chef Lynn? Can you bring me a bowl? Thank you. Forgot that part. So now we got all this citrus. Ooh, look at that. That is good business. So I'm going to take that and put it in a bowl. Thank you so much. And I want all the juice I can get off this cutting board. How are we doing on time, Moses?
Oh, let me check right quick. Oh, we're doing well. We've got another, let's see here, probably another 10 minutes.
Hey, good timing. Okay. So, make sure you kind of keep everything clean, so it won't be so hard to clean it up at the end.
Yeah, clean up as you go.
That's right. All right, so we got our citrus. Right there. We got that. And then now we're going to do the onion. A little onion in here. What I do with onions, I'd already peeled them. But usually, especially with yellow onions, we will take that and use it in stock. So all of those skins, not the end parts, but just the skins and everything, we'll take that and put it in a pot. And what I'll do is save the garlic. I could even take, the stems of some of this cilantro if I want to make a certain type of stock. And I'll just make different kind of stocks and just put it in the freezer so that if I want to do something later, I can. So I took the skins off of here. I kept the core in there, but then I'm just slicing it very thin so I can have a nice little. You don't want to have big chunks of onions and small chunks of citrus. So we're cutting up these onions. I think I'm only just for the amount. The recipe that you have is for 2 citrus, and I just did 1 today for the sake of time. But we're going to take that and we're going to just get that onion. And really, with recipes, especially something simple like this one, you should get comfortable with eyeing. Okay, if it says more than what you would normally do, then just put in what you think works, and then you can always come back later and put some more in there if necessary. So we got the onion in there, and now we're going to do this jalapeno. And just one thing about you want to be careful is you have to determine what level of spice you want for your salsa. So in the recipe, I talk about cutting out the membrane, and I'll do that for you. But for me, I probably would just leave the membrane in there because that's going to be the more spicier part. So you can take your knife and then just, be mindful, be careful, don't cut yourself. And you're cutting down that white part, and that's what they call the membrane. And I'm just going around that whole side and taking that out. All right. Take those seeds and put them over to the side. Do not touch anything before you wash your hands.
Yeah, do not touch your eyes at this point.
Please, don't do it. So again, depending on, your spice level, you can get all the way and take all of that out of there. You want no spice, then you don't want any pit, any of that membrane. So take all that, put that to the side, and then I'm just going to take my time, like that, keep it thin. And then we're just going to small dice that. Watch your fingers. I always get my thumb.
It's awesome watching your technique.
Yeah. I'm really I'm not the best cutter in the world, but I want it small, generally speaking. So that's a half of a, and that might just be enough for you. Like you just want a little something. You're looking at that. You're like, oh, that's cool. It's for me. You guys aren't here. I'm gonna go ahead and spice this bad boy up.
I love all the color.
That's Kevin the Kite Man. When I thought about that, I was like, oh yeah, we definitely got to get some color in here. So,
someone actually commented on your bracelet too.
Oh, thank you. My play mom just gave that to me this week. So I'm excited to show it off. So I'm watching my hands because I know me.
We've got about 5 more minutes.
Okay. So we got this cilantro. And we're going to take it. You can take the stems. You don't have to pick the leaves off. I go all the way to the bottom. And then I just chop. And that's with everything. I don't pick limbs. I don't pick the leaves off of too much of anything.
What about rosemary? How do you handle rosemary?
I'm not a big rosemary fan, to be honest, Moses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I definitely will. But what you can do is like, that same idea. Take the stems off, right? But then or take the pricklies off of the stem, but keep the stems for you can make oil out of it. You can have rosemary, and I do like it that way.
Oh, okay.
So that boom. Let's see. Okay, and then what do we got? Onions. We got our citrus, and I'm gonna put a little bit of salt in here. Thomas, can you bring me that chicken and those beans over here for me, please? So I got a little bit of salt. You don't need too much. It's just to kind of bring that balance out with the sweetness. And you got all your savory and your sweet together. That looks so good. It's such a great day in Seattle. This is perfect for that.
Yeah, it looks like an abstract painting that I would make.
I'm telling you, this is the Kite Man. This is Kevin the Kite Man right now. I'm giving you Kevin the Kite Man on a plate. All right. Chef Lynn, can I get that sauce too? All right, now we're going to put a plate together. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm at the magic of TV. All right, you can just leave that right there. So we got the beans. Just as an extra, I put a little bit of extra water in the beans because if you're using the can, you might need a little bit of extra liquid. So some chicken stock or veggie stock, You could do all of this. You could take some tofu. You could take that same marinade, like the spice blend, and you could put it on. You could put it on some vegetables and do this all vegan and vegetarian. Thank you, babe. How many days would I store this in the fridge if you made a big batch with leftovers? I think you can leave it in there for at least 3-4 days. I wouldn't get too crazy with it though, because citrus can go bad fairly fast. You got that salt that's gonna let it last a little bit longer, but you know, definitely I wouldn't do it more than a week. So I grilled off some chicken beforehand. Let me pull it over here. This is so fun. I feel like when I didn't grow up on Food Network. I grew up on KCTS, PBS, so Great Chefs of the Northwest. So.
And you are definitely one of the greats.
I'm excited. That's such a high honor, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So we got the chicken. Let's see. Hold on. That's my plate up. I got to give you like the whole little situation. Okay. We got the beans. I'm going to just toss those beans over top like that. Booyaka. All right. You got your Silence is Golden black beans. We got conspicuous fried chicken. And we got this houseboy green sauce. Ooh, that looks so good. I'm so excited. Okay. We got the Lordy Mama whole cakes and the Kevin the Kite salsa.
Well, you killed it and just literally were right on schedule. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your food magic with us today, Chef Kristi. We've shared some links in the chat where you can learn more about Chef Kristi's catering company and make a reservation or schedule takeout from Communion.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was super fun.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this again soon. I like the visual art and cooking. Like, there's something there. So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, you guys have a great day.
All right, you too. All right.